In this lesson, we're going to place some of these clamps that'll hold this little steam pipe we just added. So what we're going to do, go into Layer Manager, go down to Hardware, unhide the hardware layer. I'm going to click on that little clamp. I'm going to zoom in, make sure I have it. I do. Right click, clone. Okay. I'm going to clone it as a copy. Now we're going to go up, and with the boiler layer selected, plus sign, let's hide the hardware layer. And you see now we have one of those clamps on the proper layer. Let's hide the blueprints. I'm not totally concerned with having them showing right now. Okay, and let's take this, move it back, perspective and zoom. Okay, and let's place this one right now. Let's keep one out here and let's actually make a copy. There we go, copy. I'm going to E for rotate. I'm going to rotate that just like this. Going to rotate it like that. There we go. Move. Okay. A couple things we want to do. Want to control and click on the line, the actual steam line we made. It's a little too far forward. Just shift it back. There we go. Now it's where it should be. It's that easy. All right, back on the clamp. Zoom in a little bit, and pretty much like I was saying earlier, we have that little opening there, but we're not appreciating it because the line is a little bigger. You can scale and see how it works. The only problem now is that if you keep doing this and you have a lot of them, you're going to have to scale it. You have to take this back section, move it out. So I'm going to undo. I'm going to say that's okay. So, you know, if it's that important that you have that little opening for the line, then scale that section, make the adjustments, and you'll be doing it for every one that you use. Just keep that in mind. It's a lot of work. So we're working quickly. We're in a production environment. We want this to happen quickly. So let's save the file. That's our first clamp that we're using on the model. It looks good. I like the way it's positioned. I like the way it looks. I'm going to just shift and drag that one up as a copy. Okay. If you do it as instance and you have to change these values or scale in any direction, it's going to make things go across the board, and every model will be affected by the changes you make. So I think for this you might want to just keep it as copy and not as instance. Let's hit F4 and make sure that, and let's do local for the move. I want to make sure, see that's floating a little, so I'm going to position it here, and this is exactly what I'm saying. Let's come down to this bottom group of vertices. Let's use the move tool with local. Let's see how that works. See, that didn't work. Let's try parent. Parent's very effective. It'll give us the same direction. We'll just pull that back a little. That looks good. It's just got to intersect the surface. Maybe a touch more just because I'm seeing that leading edge. You don't want to see that edge necessarily floating. You're going to get weird shadows if it does. You can also add a little thickness to it if you need to. Okay, so there we go. Now we have two of them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this original one. Let's just move that guy. I think we're good. We have a couple there now we can work with. Bring them up. Bring them forward. And right there looks good. I'm going to zoom in. So I hit P for perspective, Z for zoom. And let's rotate that. Right like that. F4 so I could see what's going on. Okay, that's where I want it, but this isn't. So again, this isn't the most amazingly perfect way for you to have to work, but you know, things aren't always going to be the same distance. If they are, they're not going to look totally realistic. They may look CG, and I'm willing to do this effort of moving some parts around. So let's just move that up just like that. A little bit more. You can see it doesn't look consistent. Okay, and that looks good. And I'm going to just, with parent, we're still on parent or local. Let's do parent. No, let's do local. Sorry about that. Local's working. We're not moving verts. So we're just going to grab that handle, move it down a little bit. There you go. So now we have another one there. That looks good. And now with that one, I'm going to come back. They go a decent distance, believe it or not. I was surprised at how far these things are spaced when I looked at reference. Pull that one out. We're still working locally. You can see local is selected. So move is a local function. Okay. And let's go down to the base, vertex. select that group of vertices, and we're at parent. That's exactly what we want. Just like that. Turn on Turbo Smooth. That one looks good. So there we go. We'll do another. Shift, drag that back. As a copy, okay. Remember, not instance, because if we lengthen or shorten something, every other one will be affected by that move. So this is a good way to do it. Let's just do it as a copy. And we can see that looks good. Just a touch back. There we go. And that looks good. Let's turn off wireframe. Do a couple more of those. Shift, drag that one back. Okay. Perspective and zoom. Very repetitive, but that's the way you're going to learn. It's kind of like I'm drilling it into your head here. There we go. Right there. Okay, and this is a big difference. So we're going to grab those verts. Still at parent. Make sure it's parent. Bring that up just like that. So some poor blacksmith had to make all different sizes just to make this conform. So that's your job today. Okay, let's move this back again. Right to there as a copy. Perspective and zoom. You want to get in tight on this stuff when you're moving it around just so you see what's going on. Sorry about that. F4 so I can make sure. There we go. Let's pull that down. Let's move it forward. And again, vertices are still selected. Push it back a little bit. Turn on Turbo Smooth again. And there you have it. That looks good. Let's do one more. Okay, P and Z, perspective and zoom. Move that guy out. Move it down. A little bit more. That looks better. F4. Vertex, vertices are selected. They're still selected. Move that back a little bit so it meets the surface. You don't want any of them sticking out the bottom levels. Just there you go. You get some weird shadows maybe if they were sticking out. F4. Okay. So there we have it. Now we have the steam line. It's attached to the actual boiler with these clamps, which add a lot of detail. They're going to give nice shadows and reflections. So with that said, I think in the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple pieces that'll conform to the side of the boiler. If there's any other lines or things like that, I'm going to leave it up to you because you have the technique. And so that's what we're going to do in the next video. We're going to add these little, like a little nameplate or a little badge and a little hatch door that goes here. The same technique we used earlier for the steam stack and these little portals. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll pick up where we left off.